Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I guess you guys are probably wondering why I asked you to come in.
Absolutely.
Aside from the fact that you're fun to hang out with, and I love to do that.
Of course we are.
I noticed some of my favorite tools here.
They are, and they're there for a reason. I want to tell you this is very exciting news. I've been approached by the Maryland people, and they want me to do an educational video. Since it is the brush designed by stylists for stylists, I can't think of any two stylists I'd rather have in the video with me than you two.
Oh.
Here's what I think is going to be so cool about it. I mean, first of all, you guys all know about Marilyn Brushes. We know that it's the stylist choice on BehindTheChair.com for 2 years in a row. I know you understand how the brush works, but not everybody really understands how to use them like you do. We're going to get some models in. You're going to get to talk about the brushes, use your favorite ones, and I want to hear from the mouths of the people that use it. And that's why I want you guys here today. So I need to know what your favorite brushes are and what you like to do the most with Marilyn Brushes.
I'm a big volume girl. I do a lot of round brush blow dries, and I like to really crank it out on top and really get a lot of movement and fullness. So I would say my favorite is probably the Tuxedo, the little black and blonde bristle brush. It's one of my favorites because I feel like I get a lot of smoothness from it with the boar bristles. Also, the fact that you only have to turn a quarter pull, or a quarter turn and then pull, just makes it so much easier on your wrists. It doesn't tire you out, you know? So that would probably be my favorite.
I think that that's a really good start because you know what? That's the cornerstone of the Marilyn Brush Company. Matter of fact, I'm very impressed that you're able to use the round brushes more in lieu of the electric appliances, which I think is really brilliant because it's going to save a lot on your wrist having to do that big bulky curling iron and flat iron all the time. So Kifla, I already know what your favorite brush is, but go ahead and tell me.
Okay, well, it's no surprise to most of you that my favorite Marilyn brush is this guy. This is the Jelly Ceramica. The first time I picked it up, I couldn't put it down. I was amazed on what an amazing brush that this turned out to be and how well it performed. And I love this brush because it just, everything that I need to do, I can do with this brush. It has a 100% ceramic barrel, which allows it to retain heat for up to 10 minutes. And you mentioned the shape. I love that the Marilyn brush was the first brush to have an hourglass shape to the barrel. You retain the hair in the center. It doesn't fall out the side, and I love that it does that. It saves me so much time and energy.
One of my favorite things about it as well is that in the construction of the brush, like you mentioned, there's the hourglass shape of the actual center of the brush. But in addition to the hourglass barrel, the barrel itself is one continuous piece. So there aren't any breaks where the hair is going to get caught or your brush isn't going to wear down over time and the end of it doesn't pull off. So you're not running into those kind of problems.
Talk about being the first company to do the hourglass shape. What if I told you I had 2 more firsts to show you today?
Nice.
No way.
First of all,
Oh, wow.
does this look familiar? What's this shape?
The Ovale, right?
The Ovale, of course.
Yeah.
Use the Ovale, this side to smooth, this side to flip up. What's on the back side?
That's the Flatter Me Too.
Exactly.
No way. How
cool.
cool is that?
So you have the ability to smooth, you have the ability to flip, you have the ability to pick up hair, get through the coarsest types.
And look at that
speed
little
dry.
handle on it too.
That would be the knife grip. And look
Cool.
how easy it is to turn. So
Wow.
just like that, very ergonomic, fits nicely in your hand. And look at your tuxedo brush.
Oh, no kidding. Oh, I love it.
And your Flatter Me paddle.
The Flatter
Is
Me
that
paddle.
amazing?
Great.
How
So you
crazy
can
is that?
actually use 2 brushes in one.
No joke. Why didn't anybody think of this before?
I know. Well, I think it is just the continuation of Marilyn Brushes coming out with the best innovation at the best time. This is what this project is about.
Okay.
I'm so excited that you guys are going to be a part of it.
Me too.
Are you ready to go do hair?
So ready.
Let's do it.
All right.
Everybody, how are you?
Hey, Francie.
Kifla, Jamie, I see we have a couple models with us today. This is my favorite part of the Marilyn project. This is where we take a couple models and by using specific tools designed just right for their hair type and their desired look, we're gonna make them look great. And I know you guys can do it. So we're gonna talk to Jamie first, because Jamie's gonna show us on Amanda's hair what to do with high-profile blondes. So tell us what you're going to do with Amanda, and why did you choose the brushes I see you have ready for her?
Well, there are a couple of different reasons. Like you mentioned, Amanda does have a lot of hair. So I'm going to start that off by using the Flatter Me paddle. So we're going to use that to kind of get her detangled, get her sectioned out, and kind of give it a good basis to go from. After that, I'm going to move over to the New Yorker, which has a little bit of a closer set bristle. And I'm going to do that for a couple of reasons. One, because it's going to give us a whole lot of smoothness, which we're really going for because Amanda has colored her hair and is fighting a little bit of a cuticle smoothness issue. So we're going to go with that to get her really smoothed out. We want to go with a skinnier bottom and a larger top. That'll give us the contrast and make it look like even more volume at the top. Next, we're going to move on to the Tuxedo Pro. The Tuxedo Pro is great for lift as well as volume and a little bit of styling with the round brush. In addition to that, the black and blonde bristles of the Tuxedo Pro are actually angled to the barrel itself. And what that's going to do is help us to create the maximum amount of volume while we get that nice curl from the round brush.
Nice, great idea. I can't wait to see you get it finished. Let's get started.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is go ahead and get Amanda sectioned out and detangled. For that, I'm gonna use, like I said, our Flatter Me paddle. It does a great job at gliding through the hair, especially when it's wet.
Now, when you switch to the New Yorker brush, it's more of a finishing than a blow drying thing to get through the finer styling, so it gives it a nicer, smoother finish, correct?
Absolutely. So the New Yorker, like I've mentioned, has the nice close set bristles.
Okay.
You'll see how smooth of a finish that gets us. We're not really going for any kind of a round brush at this point or any kind of a shape. We really just want to make sure that this is nice and smooth. So we're going to start pretty close to the head, which is one thing that the New Yorker does a really good job of. You can see the amount of tension also that the New Yorker puts on the hair. So when I'm getting really close to the scalp here, where we really need that cuticle control, it's gonna give us the type of tension that we need to get a smooth finish. All right, so I'm just gonna go through the rest of her hair and make sure that everything is really, really smooth. I will also want to mention that we're using a lower wattage dryer with more airflow just for the integrity of the brush. It's going to make your brushes last a little longer. We're going to continue with the New Yorker to get everything really smooth at the bottom, so we've got a skinnier bottom and a bigger top. Again, just for a little bit of distinction and give us some more contrast between the top and the bottom. At the bottom of these sections, I'll also switch over to the Tuxedo Pro for a little bit of a round brush finish before we move on to these higher up sections. Okay, so what I've gone ahead and done, Francie, is I've finished up all of this perimeter here. I've finished these back sections, kind of set them aside. I've also done the right side as well. Now you'll notice there are some funny brushes hanging off of her head, but there actually is a purpose in doing that. You want the hair to kind of cool in that shape so that when you do take it out, it's really well set. So what I've done here, I've just finished this section. I'm gonna roll that back up and just let that sit to cool. I've also, after I've sectioned off this top area into kind of a diagonal here, I've already rolled this and let this set as well. In addition, I've clipped these bangs to the side so they can be nice and smooth to the shape of the head. And I'm gonna take this off in a very specific way. I like to actually unroll the brush in a circular manner like this and letting the hair just kind of sit in that shape. The client is gonna immediately want to touch that hair and kind of play with it and get it to look like what they're used to it looking like, but you wanna discourage that as much as possible to keep it in that shape and allow it to cool.
I noticed that you had like an indent in it where the round area actually promoted more volume. So that's on purpose. You can get the brush right up to the head, correct?
Absolutely, and we have the Marilyn brushes to thank for that as well. The way that they're shaped with kind of this nice little curvature is going to really fit against the shape of the head, especially when it is in that cooling motion. So what we're going to do is finish off this top section. We're going to go away from the area that we want it to lie, again for more volume. So I'm going to push this hair and manipulate it forward and away from where I actually want it to lie. Again, rolling the brush down and allowing it to cool. So we'll finish that section, kind of go throughout the back here, and then we'll come back to our finished product.
It's looking beautiful.
Thank you. All right, now Francie, we've gotten to our finished product, but we're gonna do one last thing to kind of polish it off here. I wanna give it a little bit of added volume since we are showing volume on Amanda here today. We've gone through and already done a couple of sections through the back here. So I've done about 2 or 3 sections that are about as wide as our Marilyn teasing brush. So we're just gonna lift, we're gonna go perpendicular to the hair because the Marilyn brush does such a great job. And I'm just brushing through so it's very nice and smooth on what will be our top, pulling forward, and then I'm going straight in with the Marilyn brush. This is gonna be able to have direct contact with the hair. On the brush itself, we have a center row of bristles that actually allows you to not have to turn the brush to get more back combing. Absolutely. So we're gonna go straight in, starting closest to the root and moving our way up, just getting a whole lot of nice padding here at the bottom. We're then gonna flip this back and just slowly smooth our style back into place. You'll see exactly how much volume that's giving us to kind of just finish off our nice round brush.
You know what's interesting too, I find, Jamie, is a look like this isn't have volume that just makes it pop off the head, but what it does is it gives it an energy. So even in the smoothness, it has that sense of movement instead of just falling and being weighted on the hair.
All right, so this is our finished product. We've gone through and done almost all the work with the Marilyn brush and gotten that really good smoothness and volume, going back through back combing and just kind of refining. We then went through and individually pieced out some of the hair to kind of further refine it and just really give a good polish here.
You know, I have to tell you, that is the word I was thinking of. It looks very highly polished. But you know, as good as the Marilyn brush is, it doesn't make up for a hairdresser's hand. You did a beautiful job, Jamie.
Thanks.
Just gorgeous. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Now, Kifla,
Hi,
finally
Francie.
it's your turn to shine, huh? Now, Diamond, we're gonna make you have a new look. What do you think of that?
I'm ready.
I think you should be. So what are you gonna do? Talk to me about her hair type and what made you decide to cut her in this particular shape and how's your finish gonna look?
Okay, well, Diamond has a wonderful head of hair.
Yes.
It has a medium texture, but when it's dry, it tends to hold a lot of air and get really kind of cushy. So what I wanted to do with her style today was really sleek her out, really smooth her out, give her hair some weight and some shine so that it really kind of creates a nice, sleek shape and really frames her face. We cut her in an asymmetrical bob, so that way we can really highlight how smooth we can get with the Marilyn brush today.
Oh, okay. And so you're going to use certain brushes that are going to make a difference between the look that we just saw that was volumized and the smoothness you're looking for on Diamond's hair, correct?
Well, first we're going to go ahead and kind of define the shape, really section it off with the flatter me paddle. Then we're going to go ahead and use the New Yorker to blow dry her flat to the head to really create that smoothness and that flatness to the head and really get the hair going in the direction that needs to go. And then we're gonna really refine the shape, polish it off, add extra smoothness and a little bit of a rounded shape with the Double S Pro. I chose the Double S Pro because the bristles, unlike the Tuxedo, are perpendicular to the barrel, so we're gonna get a lot of smoothness and not so much volume.
So what's really important about that is instead of getting volume, he's going to get a curve. And the curve is what you want to do to accent your haircut, correct?
Exactly. It's more of a
Brilliant.
shape.
Good thinking. I like that. I can't wait to see the result.
So let's get started.
All right.
So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and take my flatter me paddle.
Right.
I'm going to brush the hair toward her face, helping to kind of keep volume from forming. And this way, we'll get a nice shape that frames her face.
It's amazing how you can sort of see the flow of the hair from the separations put in by the Flatter Me paddle.
And I love that the tips of the Flatter Me paddle help to massage and stimulate the scalp.
Ah, I think I need that. Now, do you find that when you blow it forward, you don't blow it over the top, so you're not quite disrupting the way your set's been put into the beginning?
Yeah, since we don't want to create any added volume, we want to make sure that we're just going with the shape of the head as opposed to over-directing the hair.
Right, right. Well, that certainly is going to keep it closer.
I just love the ease that you get and the control with the Flatter Me paddle.
That is pretty impressive.
It's not only great for detangling wet hair, but just kind of what I call penciling in the style. So now that it's penciled in, I'm going to go ahead and refine that and get more smoothness and more shine by using the New Yorker. The New Yorker is a great brush. It comes in 3 sizes, and it has this blend of boar bristle and nylon bristles to really get that tension that you really want. And you can tell here I'm really creating that sleek smoothness and getting that shine in there. Okay, Francie, so what I'm doing now is I'm taking my Double S Pro brush and I'm refining and smoothing that shape, really giving her that sleek, defined face framing texture. And I love that the Double S Pro comes in like 4 different sizes because especially with a haircut.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Hey, Greg. How are you, Francie?
Good to see you back again with more long hair.
More long blonde hair, right? We all love it. We're actually going to be doing something really cool with Jessica today. As you can see, she's got gorgeous hair. She's got a little bit more of kind of a rocker type of a feel. So we're going to kind of play that up today using our T-Twin. So we've got a couple different brushes of the T-Twin that we're going to be using today. We've got the T-Twin that has the Flatter Me paddle on the one side, and then on the reverse side of that, we've got the Tuxedo Pro, which is the one that we previously used. On the other T-Twin, we have the Flatter Me 2, and then we also have the Ovale, so it's got more of an oval brush shape to it. So we've got a couple different options to use here, but it's going to help us to give her a really funky shape.
Could I see one of those? That's
Absolutely.
such a great idea. Oh my gosh. Has the oval shape. It makes it easy. This is so user-friendly. You know, because I can see how, especially someone when they were doing their own hair, would be able to pick up the hair but still get the smoothness of the boar bristle finish.
It's great.
Oh my gosh, brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant, brilliant. I can't wait to see you use it.
Oh, I'm excited too. And the thumb grip makes it exciting too.
Oh,
gives it a
very
nice
cool.
little feel, a little motion in your hands. So I really like that about the brushes as well. But we're gonna go ahead and dive in. You can kind of see how we've got Jessica already sectioned off here. So basically, since we are wanting to create a little bit of lift, Jessica parts her hair on this side.
I see.
So we're gonna create a little bit of lift by, again, going away from the place that we want it to lay. So it's gonna come back down with a little bit of a bump here. Then we'll move into this side and start doing a little bit of a flat wrap technique.
So you're actually using your head as one of the tools as well.
Absolutely. The
Very
shape
cool.
of the head is the round shape that we want to create that smoothness.
Great. Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Great. I'm gonna actually start off with the T-Twin that we have the Flatter Me paddle on the one side of it. I think that the bristles are far enough apart where we're gonna get a really smooth shape on Jessica's hair.
Great.
All right, I'll go ahead and take that from you. So I've slightly sectioned her off. We're gonna be going with this side of the hair first, just to kind of create some really good volume.
So by coming across the head, you're going to actually almost start that flipping thing just by using your head as part of the shape.
Absolutely, yep. We're gonna kind of create that volume. We really wanna get in close to the hair here to make sure that everything's smooth to the shape of the head.
Right, so you can put the finish on the ends later.
Exactly.
Ah, gotcha.
And I kind of call this my truck and trailer technique. You almost have a trailer following the truck. Anywhere that the brush goes, the blow dryer is gonna follow.
So you make sure that you're getting that smoothness from the Flatter Me paddle bristles, but the dryer right close behind is not blowing the hair around.
Exactly.
Got it.
And you almost want to move a little bit with the hair as well to keep a little bit of movement on the root. and allow it to just not sit in one place when it is dry.
So that must really help then as far as separations from growth directions or spirals at the scalp. By moving it around, they won't be so prominent.
Absolutely. And in addition, if you have any colics on your client's hair or any funky little hairlines going on up in front, that's going to help to smooth things out and just make your life a whole lot easier later. Okay, so now that that's pretty smooth and pretty dry, we're gonna go ahead with this next section here, lifting this up. And we've kind of already got it parted from the ear back. So we'll just move into this and we'll go straight back up with this again for even more volume. Okay, so now we've actually moved on. We're on our second T-twin brush. If you'll remember, this is the Ovale Pro mixed with the Flatter Me 2. So we're gonna get a really good grip on the Flatter Me 2 side, really pick up that hair. The Ovale Pro is actually gonna help us smooth it out really well. So the purpose of this brush on Jessica's style today is it's gonna help to give us a little bit more sassitude.
Ah, love that word.
Kind of play up the ends here and give her a little bit of a flip back. So we'll get started on that. Take that from you, thank you. So you'll notice how easily this brush picks up the hair. I mean, I barely had to do any work except for set the ends on it, and immediately the hair gets picked up in the brush. So just one quick roll.
That is so much easier because usually, because of gravity, and you're using a boar bristle brush, the hair tends to fall out.
Don't you always fight it?
Oh my gosh, that is great.
Absolutely. Normally you have to fight those little hairs, and especially on a blonde where they like to have a lot of flyaways. This is just going to really give it some excitement.
And look at that.
And again, turn it around and we'll show the...
Simple as that.
Absolutely. So we're just going to do a couple more of those around Jessica's style, and then we'll get on with the rest of it, kind of finish her up, give her a little bit of sass, and we'll be done. All right, so we've got our finished product here, guys. What do you guys think?
Jamie, it looks amazing.
Thanks.
I love it because it's so unstructured. That's my kind of hair.
Yeah, we always think, you know, polish, 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 finish, 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 but you can see what the Marilyn Brush can also help you accomplish. A really fun style. You're saving yourself time on picking up extra brushes because you've got the two different brushes in one. So a lot of versatility that you can get out of these brushes.
I love how you can create different types of texture with with the array of Marilyn brushes. I mean,
Absolutely.
who knew you can get this kind of rock star pillowy texture?
Right.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun to do too.
Yeah.
So.
And it looks like she loves it. Look, she's all happy. Well, that's great. Nice work. All right, Keefla, you finally got some hair to do here. You've been slacking all day. Talk to me about the texture.
Okay, well, Camille here has a beautiful head of thick, coarse hair. And I wanted to be able to use her to show the other extreme that, that we can get with the Marilyn Brush, with getting really big, voluminous volume and texture and bounciness.
Oh, great.
So I wanted to do, to give her a soft, no-part style so that we can get maximum lift, maximum volume, and maximum movement.
Ah, so you're going to obviously have to incorporate a couple of different brushes to accomplish that. What are you going to use?
Well, first I'm going to use the Flatter Me paddle. As always,
Okay.
I love to use that to pencil in the style, to detangle, especially on wet hair.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go ahead and use the Flatter Me 2. This is a great brush for thick, coarse hair. Because of the quills, you can just really cut through it so that the blow dryer can get right in there, and it can help you pick up hair, make the work so much easier. Then I'm going to use the Futuro. The Futuro is what I'm going to cut most of the moisture with. Going to really get in and kind of carve out the style, the shape, and some of the movement. And then the piece de resistance is my favorite brush, the Jelly Ceramica.
You love that brush.
I do love this brush. The great thing about that brush is it's 100% ceramic in the barrel.
Right.
So it's almost like having a curling iron. It holds 110 degrees for about 10 minutes at a time.
Wow.
And it's just, it gives you so much volume and movement. It's almost like it's idiot proof.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's such a joy to work with because you get really that like curling iron kind of finish to the hair.
Nice.
So this is almost, in a way, like a color technique, where you put your detail work on the top, and then you just sort of power through the bottom to get it dry, right?
Exactly. Because really, the shape and the movement is going to come from this area right here.
Right. I got it. Great. Well, I can't
Perfect.
wait to see it. Let's get started.
Let's get started. So I've already detangled with the Flatter Me paddle. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the Flatter Me 2. This is going to be for the bottom sections because usually they're the thickest and the coarsest. and they take the longest time to dry. So the coils on the Flatter Me paddle really help to cut through the density of the hair so that we can really get it dry and get it smooth.
Yeah, you can see the way it separates it. It's creating channels that the air can travel through it.
And just like with any other Marilyn brush, because of the hourglass shape and the boar bristles, all you need to do is a quarter turn and pull. No winding, less work on your wrist, less time.
So it almost works like a flat iron in the fact that it really smooths the hair.
Oh yeah.
So are the bristles different than the volumizing bristles that were on the tuxedo?
Well, usually when you have a volumizing brush by Marilyn, the bristles are angled to the barrel so that you get lift.
Nice.
With a brush that smooths like this guy, it's perpendicular so that we don't create that lift and we just get more of a smooth factor.
I can't believe how shiny and smooth it feels just from round brushing. It feels really, really nice.
For thick, coarse hair, the Flatter Me 2 is such a good brush. I mean, it's like, it cuts through the hair like butter.
And how important is that when you blow dry all day long?
Right?
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Okay, so I finished the bottom layers with the Flatter Me 2. That's gonna add some smoothing and just kind of dry it out real quick. Now, as I move up on the head, I want to create lift. I want to create more volume.
Okay.
So I'm gonna actually switch over to the Futuro. That's where I'm gonna start building in that volume. This is a great brush if you wanna do volume and if you wanna do a whole head of thick hair really fast. It has an ergonomic handle, really easy to hold and very comfortable. The brushes are angled to the barrel so that we do get volume. And it's just a really great brush to just kind of plow through the meat of a head of hair.
So how would you compare it to, say, like the Tuxedo Pro? Because it's for volumizing as well. I think it's the ceramic core of this one?
Well, this is ceramic coated just like the Tuxedo. However, the density of the boar bristles on this brush is actually more catered to medium to coarse hair, where the Tuxedo Pro is catered to more fine to medium hair textures.
Good, all right, I get it now. See? That's why I keep you around, Kifla. It's so amazing to me how specialized these tools are.
Oh, yeah.
There's a specially designed one for each job, and it becomes almost as if, you know, you're selecting through your scissor case.
Exactly. You want to make sure that you're using the proper tool for the proper style that you're trying to create. It would be nice if we had one magical brush that could go through fine to coarse hair and do volume and smoothing at the same time. But I like to be able to kind of handpick a special tool for a special style to really get that craftsmanship down.
And really, when you're limited, the T-Twin can sort of fill in that way because it is two brushes in one. Oh, beautiful. So I notice you do much like Jamie did. When you pull the brush away, you give it that nice little twist to make sure that it retains the energy that you put into it.
Because while the hair's still warm, it's still very pliable and still flexible. So for it to hold its shape, you want to make sure that you're kind of being delicate with it until it's actually cooled down.
So you're actually kind of using the hair to set against itself without using a roller and just using the memory that you put in with the brush.
Exactly. Okay, now that we've finished with the Futuro all the way up to the top of the head, I'm actually going to switch brushes and go to my favorite brush, the Jelly Ceramica.
Of course.
I love this brush because it just does all the work for you. The barrel is 100% ceramic, so it actually retains up to 180 degrees of temperature for about 10 minutes, and it doesn't get higher than that, so it won't damage the hair.
Oh, that's brilliant.
And I love that I can get some really bouncy, lifted volume with this brush. Beauty school students love it. I mean, it's just the perfect brush for anybody who loves to get that kind of volume, and it's really easy to use. I love how all Marilyn brushes have that hourglass shape to the barrel. Even on fine to coarse, thick sections, densities of hair, the hourglass Jelly Ceramica just allows you to get really big sections that don't fall out the sides.
Oh, that's really important because I know that's very irritating when you're constantly losing hair off the end of the brush.
There's a certain thing that I look for when I do a blowout like this, and it's what I call I like my sections to whip it.
Whip it. What does that mean?
It means that I'm getting the right amount of tension and the right amount of heat and shape to the brush to where once I let the hair go, it actually just whips into shape.
I gotcha.
And the Jelly Ceramica allows me to do that really easy. I love to just kind of roll the section of hair into it and hold the heat because the barrel is 100% ceramic. It's kind of like setting it around a hot roller.
Now I notice you're holding the dryer right to the brush. Is that because it's a lower wattage dryer? You can do that?
If you have a dual current blow dryer, it actually helps so that you don't destroy the bristles.
I see.
We get that lovely whipped section of hair.
Yeah, that's gorgeous. So much more control. I love that messy bun look. That's great.
I love up styles that just kind of look very effortless and kind of soft.
I'm with you on that.
Voila!
Look at that. Keyflow, you're amazing.
Well, it just shows you if you put the proper foundation into the hair, the sky's the limit on what you can do with it, right?
Well, guys, come over. Help me have some fun here. I'm going to give you guys each a little tool.
Okay.
We're going to play here. We have Giselle. She's got a fun, funky little cut. And I want to just do something in just a couple of seconds to show what these Marilyn brushes can do with a fun, short, funky haircut like
Well, that
this.
sounds like fun. So hold up your weapons.
Absolutely.
All right, here we
Spray
go.
me down. Spray me down. Great. People, you ready? All right. Scoot it on in.
Wow, beautiful hair, huh?
Absolutely.
So this is the finished result from the Marilyn project. I think it's pretty stunning. I love the fact that the Marilyn brush is a brush that was designed for a stylist by stylists. And nothing gave me greater pleasure than to work with two of the greatest stylists I've ever had the pleasure to work with. To Jamie and Keithla, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Nice job. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Nice job.